And we are live, Bruce. How's it
What's up,
going?
buddy? It's going, man. How are you?
It's going. That's pretty accurate.
It's going,
It's
dude.
going. The highlight of my day was I got to go play some football with some friends on campus. So that was a
Okay.
lot of fun.
Was it tackle or was it
No,
flag?
no, it was two hand touch specifically. It's unfortunate, but in COVID
Fun.
times, we there are certain rules you have to follow, and we
How
can't
much,
be
well, how
tackling
much
each other.
how much social distancing is there in playing two-hand touch football, though?
Well, when I'm receiver, there's a pretty good amount.
Oh, separation. Okay, that was
Come
good.
on.
That was good. Okay.
But no, Bruce, you said you have some story or something for
Oh,
me.
not a good one. Not a good one. It was it basically it's a kind of an inappropriate hilariousness. That's
Yes.
usually what I do.
Yeah.
So today, for those of you that did not know this, and most of you didn't, I actually had a doctor's appointment. Nothing serious. Everything's good. I do not have COVID. I'm fine. Everything's all gravy. It was just a regular checkup.
Yep.
Uh, when I get there, first of all, I got to give kudos to my doctor's office and Dr. Collins. I know for damn sure he's probably not going to watch this, but dude, his office, like they do a great job. They got me in and out
Yeah.
real quick. But anyway, so totally inappropriate, but we might be able to get maybe we'll get a sponsor from this.
Yeah.
Uh, I did a little did recently. Obviously, when I shaved my head, I like the clean cut looks and
Yeah.
making sure it's all good.
Yeah.
Did a little landscape manscape. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what's kind of funny about it though is, I don't know if many people know this or if there's ladies watch. I do apologize, or anyone that's like sensitive to it. But I don't know if they know this, but when you get checked, men still have to do the turn in thing
Yeah. Yep.
as you get older. And still, it doesn't matter. You still got to check for the hernia.
Yep.
That's what it does. That's what it is. And but the funny thing is, like I said, since I manscaped, it's hilarious because do you ever think this weird thought came to my mind? This is what I was talking
This
about.
is the weird thought. Okay.
This is the weird thought. Do you ever think that at any time these doctors are like, you know, it was a pretty looking penis.
Interesting. Interesting.
Like, he's because I'll be honest, I take my time to make sure everything's all good,
Yeah.
and you know you know if we didn't have viewers, we sure as hell don't now.
No, I think we still have viewers. I think. Do we? Yeah.
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 But anyway, no, it was good though. Everything was fine. Everything checked out okay. I got a blood test done too. Gotta have that shit done when you get
Right.
older.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But anyway, we'll change the subject now because that was totally uncomfortable and totally inappropriate. But whatever, I thought it was hilarious.
That's
Uh,
okay. That's your introduction. That's what's news for you today, Bruce.
that's what's new and news.
So
Uh,
I don't have much to say about the Packers this week. So if you want to start with the Bears,
oh,
um,
we're gonna
I,
dive right into this, huh? All right.
I mean that's what the viewers come for is you ranting about the
The
Bears. Yeah.
freaking garbage ass, freaking garbage dumpster fire team we call the Chicago Bears. Yes.
Ooh.
Um, don't get me wrong. I still love them. I still think the absolute that's my team. I mean, that's at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's my team. I'm still gonna support them, win, lose, draw. But it's frustrating. I think
Yeah.
as Chicago fans, as a Chicago Bears fan, this past week against the Titans, you saw it was the biggest game to date for the Chicago Bears, and they basically for three quarters they looked like absolute dog shit.
Yep.
In the fourth quarter, the only reason why they got as many points as they did, the only reason why they got over 380, I think it was, I don't remember off the top of my head, 350 plus total yards is because of they ended up getting garbage yards, garbage points, garbage time, like stuff.
Yeah.
Um, it's not good. It's not good. Nagy needs to give up. I heard some reports that, and I haven't confirmed it, so I can't say for sure, but I heard some reports that he's going to give up play calling. I don't.
I'd be surprised if he did that.
Same. It needs to happen. But here's a freaking awesome thought, and I love it. And I cannot take credit for this thought.
Yeah.
I really can't take credit for many smart thoughts. So,
True.
but my buddy actually came up with this when we were just talking about the Bears watching the garbage ass stuff we were seeing this past week.
Yeah.
And it was, does Mitchell Trubisky start against the Packers if the Bears offense lays another egg against the Vikings? So hear me out with this. And I kind of liked this thought process though, because it got the wheels turning in my head.
Yeah.
So if Trubisky starts, or I'm sorry, if Foles starts this week, and he will start this week, that's a stupid question. If he stumbles, I should say, this week against the Vikings, against a team that he definitely
probably will.
Yeah, he should. Right, but he's going to stumble. He's going to stumble this week against a team whose DVOA is
bad.
The Vikings, they're 14th, so they're middle of the road.
Yeah,
middle of the road DVOA. So there's a chance for him struggling. Yep. But if he does poorly, do you now go with the questionable Trubisky? At least you have mobility with Trubisky. It was interesting seeing some of the stats that they were throwing up on the board with comparing Trubisky and Nick Foles, the offense since Nick Foles took over.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think that was a very interesting thought process, because if you can give a full week for Trubisky to get ready for the Packers, and that's not saying that the Bears are going to do better with Trubisky, but I think that he right now with that offensive line and schematically, he gives them a better chance to win, in my opinion. And obviously, there's a lot of people that are a lot smarter than I am football wise, but just in my opinion, I think that he gives them a better chance to win with the offensive line and Matt Nagy's inability to change up the play calling to be a strength for the players and not just going with the scheme that he knows.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with you. They've looked awful, and there's only so much that defense can do at the end of the day. Yeah, I mean,
the Chicago Bears offensive DVOA is 28th in the NFL.
And I'm pretty sure that's about where Nick Foles is in terms of quarterbacks too.
I mean, it makes sense. And I'm sorry, I also understand the thought of if Nick Foles had an offensive line in front of him.
Or more weapons.
Right. But that also goes back to the bullshit argument that people make of, oh, who have they beaten? I'm not saying the Bears specifically, but like, when the teams have a weaker schedule or whatever.
Who have they beaten?
Well, if we're gonna go down that alley,
I mean,
kind of a dark alley. All right, so
it is a dark alley.
They've beaten the Lions, they've beaten the Giants, they've beaten the Falcons, they've beaten the Buccaneers. Their signature win right now is the Buccaneers.
And then who is their fifth win?
The Panthers. The Panthers.
Yeah, so
what sucks?
They beat the Bucs, and that's it, basically.
Basically, they beat the Bucs, and that's it. What sucks, as I was saying before, is so they got their asses kicked by the Rams.
Yep.
You're going to be competing against the Rams for a wild card, and the NFL just approved that another playoff team.
Yep.
So yay, money making NFL. But no, it gives Chicago Bears fans another false hope. Like, oh yay, if we're 8-8 and mediocre and whatever, we can still get into the playoffs. Yeah, that's fine, and whatever. I'm tired of it. As a Chicago Bears fan, I'm just tired of it.
I don't blame you.
Start Mitch. Let's see what. Let's. If we're gonna sink the ship, sink the shit out of it.
That's fair. I'll give you that. So, looking at ESPN's Football Power Index, they give the Vikings a 59% chance of winning on Monday.
Yeah, and that's not surprising. However, you still have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. And I also heard I can't
But they
remember
don't
his
have
name.
him. He doesn't throw the ball anymore.
He doesn't need to. You have the
No.
best running back in the NFL, potentially the best running back in the NFL.
Oh, right now, there's no question. Dalvin Cook has 12 rushing touchdowns.
So, yeah,
And almost 1,000 yards already.
so
We're
I think
halfway through the season.
the Vikings offensive DVOA is actually pretty decent.
Yeah, 27 points per game.
Seventh. Their offensive DVOA is seventh in the NFL. So
Yeah.
you have the Packers, who are second because Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Also, I don't know if you saw my tweet. That's another thing I want to talk to you about with the
I don't
Packers.
think so.
How their offensive line is absolutely winning every single battle.
Oh, our offensive line is fantastic.
I don't know. Did you see my tweet?
No, I didn't. I'll go look.
Fair enough. But in any case, their offensive line, Packers' offensive line has been tearing it up.
Yeah.
But so you have in the NFC North, you have Green Bay at second for offensively for DVOA, and you have the Vikings seventh in offensive DVOA. That's I wish the Bears were in the top 10.
And yeah, I found the numbers from Rob Domofsky.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
I knew Lindsley and Jenkins were that good. I did not know that Billy Turner was number 2 at tackle. Bakhtiari, obviously.
All of their offensive linemen are in the top 10, I believe, if I remember correctly, or near the top 10.
Yeah, and then Rick Wagner, who's one of the backups, is 21st at tackle, but he's still at 90% win rate, which is, and I don't want to throw out numbers that I don't know, but I would guess that's better than any offensive lineman the Bears have.
100%. Yeah. No, I'll say it. It's far, dude. So like, I was watching the all 22 of that Rams game, and I know it's a few games behind, but I was watching the all 22 of the Rams game, and my God, seeing like Ifedi, hey man, if you come on our show, I'll praise you. But right now, man, like I was watching that whiff that he had on one of his blocks, and my God, like he just overextended and doesn't have a solid base. And I can't wait to talk to Cameron on all this stuff tonight, because he obviously knows a lot more about offensive line play and the fundamentals and the dynamic that's involved there. But man,
still, yeah, it's
the most basic football mind, and I'm a very basic football mind.
Yeah,
can see some of the issues that they're having, and some of the stuff that I've been reading lately, has it been schematics by Matt Nagy and his play calling, or has it been legit just guys not knowing what the hell they're doing and them not doing the right things, the basic fundamentals of what they should do?
And when you have that going on a consistent basis, that's a problem.
100%.
Yeah, and that is what encouraged me about the Packers the other night. Was even a lot of people said the Vikings game was a trap game, and that's why the Packers lost. I'm like, kind of, but I really don't. Most division games are never a trap game, right? Because trap games for the Packers are normally like the Bucs game was a trap game. The Chargers game last year was, like, for the Packers, when they go on the road to warm weather places, that's normally when they get in trouble. So that's why, and I said it last week, I was concerned about the 49ers, even with how many players the 49ers were missing. I mean, they were missing, I think it's like 87% of their total yard getters from the first 8 weeks that they were missing. So it was basically Jerick McKinnon, and that was it. And the Packers shut him down. So, I mean, when the 49ers are throwing out Richie James, Nick Mullins, and Jerick McKinnon, I shouldn't be worried. I still was. But it was very encouraging to see them rebound on a short week in a place where they've had some terrors. And just seeing them put away a bad team made me feel a little bit better.
Fair. That's fair.
And, I mean, Aaron Rodgers,
The stud.
Incredible. Honestly, they're talking about bringing Alan Lazard back this week. I would keep him out for another week. We don't need him against the Jaguars, I don't think. I'm not inherently concerned. If you have Aaron Jones and Devontae, I really don't think you need to bring back Alan Lazard right away. I would rather make sure he is healthy, make sure that we have him ramping up for a postseason run, instead him re-aggravate any injuries playing against the Jaguars.
Fair. So, real quick, somebody just asked if the Bears miss out on the playoffs, do we just blow up the roster or make minor tweaks? I love that because I want to touch on that a little bit too.
Yeah.
If you don't mind, I know we were talking about the Packers. By the way, real quick to finish up, I'll get to that question in a second, but to get to the point that you were just making though about the Packers, and this is a Bears fan saying this, after watching that game between the Saints and the Buccaneers,
yeah,
it sucks to be in limbo right now as a Chicago Bears fan, and I'm sure as a player, because right now the NFC is such a question mark.
Yeah.
Aside from even the Seahawks, I don't view like I did earlier in the year. I was like, man, the Seahawks look really good, blah, blah. Their defense is
awful,
questionable.
It's awful.
But that offense, though, is insane. So that being said, I genuinely do think right now that the Green Bay Packers might be the team to beat in the NFC. And it sucks for me to say that. It sucks for me to say that. Only because and honestly, it's only because Aaron Rodgers and that offensive line. I'm not going to say like skill positions, obviously, that goes without, it is what it is. But that offensive line that keeps dominating and Aaron Rodgers keeps Aaron Rodgering it. Yeah, man, it's good stuff.
And when you have, even then, on defense, the Packers have 2 of the top 10 rated corners in the NFL.
Their defense still doesn't scare me.
No, but my point is, the run defense doesn't scare me. The pass defense is pretty good. And even, like, the Buccaneers, when they thrashed the Packers, they didn't thrash the Packers through the air. Tom Brady didn't even throw for 200 yards or more than 2 touchdowns. It's on the ground. And so, to me, when you have a top 5 player at quarterback, running back, wide receiver, a top 5 offensive line in the NFL, you can kind of go out there, and the Packers, all they need to do is just make every game a shootout. And if they can make it a shootout, there are few teams that can really keep up.
Truth.
So that's what I would do, and then I'm confident in Jaire Alexander to take any number 1 from any team, and at least keep them under 100 yards and a touchdown. I think that's even the best receivers in the NFL. Jaire Alexander shut down Calvin Ridley. He's shut down Thielen twice now. Like, some of the people that he shut down this year, very impressive. So I'm just concerned about the run defense. And that's the one thing everybody wanted the Packers to go out and get a wide receiver at the deadline. I just wanted a freaking linebacker. I wanted a linebacker that could tackle. And
stop the run.
That's all I want. And I also saw the Packers' highest rated interior defensive lineman. They play on like 10% of the snaps. Montravius Adams. They don't play him for some reason. I'm like, and I said this last week, that the only time the Packers lose are when they get gashed on the run, and if they stop the run, they're fine. So, the Titans scare, but then in the NFC, as long as we don't get a first-round matchup against the Vikings, there's not really a running game that scares me. True. The Buccaneers, obviously, because they ran over the Packers.
In the NFC, I can't.
The Seahawks running game doesn't scare me. Chris Carson can't stay healthy. The Saints, Alvin Kamara, but we beat them.
The Saints would probably be the only team that the Saints, Buccaneers.
But the Packers beat the Saints, and Drew Brees just.
Well, you know as well as I do that in the playoffs it means absolutely nothing.
No, I know, but my point is, I would be more worried, a la San Francisco last year, if the Packers got run over by the Bucs and the Saints. if both of those teams had a clear game plan on how to beat the Packers. If Sean Payton and the Saints have to go out there and be creative in a playoff matchup, worrying we have to do something special because what we did last time didn't work, I would rather them be on that. Right. So honestly, really the only team at this point that would scare me is the Bucs, and clearly the Bucs have holes. So right. Yeah, that's where we stand. But yeah, go back to the what in the world do the Bears do?
Oh jeez. Okay, so real quick, the question was, do the Bears blow it up? It's kind of tough to answer the question, to be honest. Just because the dynamic that they have right now on that team is so messed up. So part of the reason why I don't think that they haven't extended Allen Robinson yet is because they don't have the money to extend him. Even next year,
even have the money, Bruce.
Well, even franchising that guy, they can't franchise him. That franchise tag is the average amount of money to the top 5 receivers per year. So
Allen Robinson is not a top 5 receiver.
So no, but right now, so what I'm saying though is the top 5 like paid receivers in the NFL average, like we'll just say for numbers, those 5 receivers, their per year salary is $20 million. Yeah, I'm just saying that just as a soft example or a stupid example because I'm not smart enough to figure it out.
I think it's about 16, just to give you context.
Fair. Okay, close. So fine, but we'll just say 20, just for sake of rounding to a sweet even number. Yes. That's part of the reason why I don't think they're paying him. It's such a strange dynamic that they have. They all their contracts are absolute garbage. And I keep saying that. It's a repeated thing that I keep saying with the Bears is garbage and dumpster fire. So real quick, I'm looking at the Bears contracts terms that are current right now. So you have Robert Quinn. Okay, so a lot of people are really upset about Robert Quinn and how he is not producing at a 5-year, $14 million a year type thing.
Yep.
And I get that. I understand it. I understand why people are pissed off at it because they saw immediately as soon as he came in, first play, strip sack right away. He's not producing because he's an edge rusher. Edge rushers are at their best when they are going against a team that is down and have to pass the ball. That's the main thing. The Bears offense does not provide this defense enough room for them to operate.
Has to pass the ball.
Right. You don't have to pass the ball. When you're up by 10, 15, 20 points against this Bears defense, just run the ball. And that's no like knock on that defense because I love that defense. Their defense is awesome still. It's top. It's gone up in DVOA ranking. It's the 4th best defense according to DVOA.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, so to answer the question, to blow it up, God, no. Only because you still have a defense that is playoff caliber defense. You still have some weapons on offense. Tariq Cohen is going to come back and still be a weapon. Allen Robinson, if you do re-sign him, is still a weapon. If he still wants to be here, the biggest question marks is that offensive line and God, the quarterback position. And obviously the quarterback position is the most important one in all of sports. I'll venture to say all of sports. So that said, I don't know. I don't think you blow it up because you're going to waste a good defense again because that's what the Bears do. They waste defenses.
Here, I have 2 comments. Number 1, I think ideally you would blow it up if you're sitting in an ideal world. But like you said, with those contracts that the Bears have, they just financially and logistically will not be able to blow it up because they're not going to be able to send some of those deals away. Number 2, if you really want to do something drastic, I would do something along the lines of, I think the Bears would be better off just selling the farm for a Trevor Lawrence or a Justin Fields.
You mean do like the old school New Orleans Saints back in the day when Mike Ditka sold his whole draft
Yep.
for Ricky Williams?
Yep. I would give them David Montgomery, Darnell Moon. No, I'd give them Allen Robinson, and my first round pick and my first round pick next year, and
you wouldn't
give
be able to trade
Justin
Allen
Fields,
Robinson because
Darnell Mooney. Like, you need an incredibly talented quarterback, and because of your financial situation, you can't pay one.
You need
so you have to draft one, and the only way to do that is sell the farm.
So what I actually think they should do, now just to completely answer the question, I think you targeted offensive line.
Yeah.
You targeted offensive line in the offseason. And in the draft, you go for a quarterback. And I think you're going to have to start Nick Foles next year. You're going to have to, unfortunately.
You're not re-signing Trubisky?
I would love – well, no, because they're giving up on him.
Fair.
They're giving up on him. Unless, like I said, unless my thought process – like holds true. I don't think it will, but God, I would love to see it. If the Bears suck this week against the Vikings offensively and they struggle like crazy, and to be honest with you, I can see it. I can see it definitely happening. Yeah. I think the Bears defense might score more points than their offense. God, it's terrible. But like legitimately, you could see Trubisky starting against the Packers in 2 weeks after the bye. So you give Trubisky that 1 week time frame to start him. I would. Why not? He wasn't even hurt anyways. I've gone on record and said that shit. I totally don't think the dude was hurt at
Bruce
all.
Doesn't buy it.
No, I don't buy that bullshit. Like it was the same thing that happened to Kyle Long years ago when they said Kyle Long was hurt after that Raiders game, and then all of a sudden he's like, he's cut. Granted, like he may have declined in abilities. It is what it is. He got older, but you telling me that dude is not a better a guard right now than the Bears have right now on their roster? Bullshit. Sorry, I tangented, but
no, I'm laughing because that's definitely something I'm going to put on TikTok.
Nice.
No, but Bruce. Before Cameron should be here soon. So I believe it's advertisement time. Before we flip tracks here a little bit, so I'm going to start, and then once I'm done with the opening and my ad, you can roll from there.
I don't even think you sent me the ad.
I definitely did.
Oh, well. Well, I'll let you read it, and then I'll the perks of live shows.
Exactly. I definitely forwarded it to you, but it's okay.
Hold on.
Anyway, so the weekend is right around the corner, and there are plenty of things going on in the central Illinois area to keep you and the family busy. Whether you're just visiting or you call the heart of Illinois home, Discover Peoria, the Peoria Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, has dropped us some information about a few weekly discoveries that you won't want to miss. So the first one we have for you today is the Triple Dipples awarded 2020 Illinois Made Maker. So Discover Peoria is excited to announce that the Triple Dipples Treats and Delicacies has been awarded a 2020 Illinois Made Maker. This is a very deserving award for Harold Webster, owner and chief baker, and the Triple Dipples staff. Launched in 2016, Illinois Made spotlights the people, products, and experiences authentic to Illinois and inspires residents and visitors to explore these iconic destinations when traveling the state or in their own backyard. The program, which currently features over 175 makers, helps drive foot traffic into local businesses and the state. To learn more about the Illinois Made at enjoyillinois.com/IllinoisMade or our Black-Owned Peoria project at discoverpeoria.com/Black-Owned Peoria.
Awesome job. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm glad I didn't read that one because I would start laughing.
There are some tongue twisters in that one.
Yeah, I would have started laughing at Triple Dipples.
To be fair, I have had it. Very delicious.
Really?
But yeah, the name is... Yeah, they've got some good stuff, but the name does get some giggles, especially from college students.
I'm not a college student, but I still laugh at it.
It's okay, Bruce. You read yours, and then we'll welcome Cam on the show.
Awesome. Well, since you want to read the open too, or should I?
No, you're good. Just go into yours.
Awesome, I love it. All right, so holiday market at Venue Cheska on Thursday, November 19th from 4 till 9 p.m. Treat yourself to an evening of shopping, swag bag. Who doesn't want a swag bag?
I love swag bags.
I love swag bags. Great local makers and food and drinks at the Venue Cheska in downtown Peoria. There are 2 spacious rooms to shop while socially distancing, which is key right now. There will be a wide array of local vendors, including home decor, handmade items, jewelry, clothing, art, and so much more. La Fleur Boutique, Leo and Vino, The Spot Coffee, Triple Dipples Treats and Delicates, Young's Popcorn Heaven. $5 for adults and free for kids 14 and under. More information about the holiday event can be found on Discover Peoria's event page. Sounds like fun.
Absolutely. And with that, we will welcome on Cameron to the show. We're going to let him in here. There we go.
What's up, Cameron?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
It's going good. How are you, sir?
I am good.
Let's see. So, Cameron, if you could introduce yourself first and foremost. Thank you very much for coming on the show. Give us a little bit of your background before Bruce and I start firing away.
Okay. Well, Cameron Lee, born and raised in a small town in central Illinois. Was all about sports growing up. Was a 3-sport guy in high school. Kind of fell into being a football player just because I was like the big guy. Wasn't really my jam, but I figured it out and ended up trying to make a career of it. Ended up walking on at Illinois State University as a football player. And then, barely saw the field for 2 or 3 years, and eventually found my way out onto the field. And and next thing I know, I was in the NFL.
So
it just happened. Just happened
yeah.
now.
It took a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, but it was far from sort of the standard route, if you will.
Yeah.
That's fair. So what? Go ahead, MJ.
I was just gonna say, not to establish too many rivalries, but Cameron and I now have 2 rivalries. Because I apologize, Cameron, I'm a Packers fan. And obviously you spent some time with the Bears. But also I go to Bradley.
Buck Bradley, baby.
Yeah. So Bradley, Bruce, I don't know how much you know. Bradley and Illinois State.
Yeah, no, I know.
Not exactly friends. So I'm fine with you, Cameron. But we'll ignore the Bradley Illinois State thing for the time being.
As far as I'm concerned, Bradley doesn't even play football. So I mean,
nope.
I can't be your rival on that.
No, we're undefeated for a very long time.
And yet winless.
Exactly.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
But yes, Bruce, take it away.
Dude, Cam, do you mind if I call you Cam? Is that okay?
Go for it. Doesn't matter.
I love the fact that he's already being able to barb at you like that, MJ.
Bruce really enjoys making fun of me.
I do. So no, I actually do. I have a question for you, Cam. I'm sure that you've had the opportunity to watch our beloved Chicago Bears play. Yep, I know. I feel you. So that said, and I know you play guard in the NFL. Please talk to me on that offensive line, man. Is it scheme? Is it play calling? Or have you seen some stuff fundamentally that could be better?
Well, I think it's a little bit of all of that. I mean, it's not a one thing will fix everything sort of thing. Obviously, it takes a long time for offensive lines to gel. It's a position that requires much cohesion and continuity and things like that. So obviously, an abbreviated off season, trying to bring in a couple moving parts, trying to get guys back into the correct spots. A lot of that I think contributes to some of the struggles that we've seen. But early on, when we saw kind of the 5 that we thought would be the starting group, for those first couple of weeks, granted they were lesser opponents, they looked pretty solid, and there did appear to be something of a rushing attack. Since then, obviously the shuffling of players, obviously it's a new coach, it's new quarterback, the scheme kind of changed when you go from Trubisky to Foles. Like, there's just all these different things that really haven't gone in favor of the Bears, and I don't think it was that great of a group prior to the season. I thought they were an okay group, but not a great group. And so when you factor in injuries, missed practices due to COVID, you've got so they've gone up against some really good groups, and I just frankly am not sure that this group had all that much talent to begin with. So it's just been a whole slew of factors that have not gone well.
That's fair. So to speak to that cohesion, because we're seeing some very basic stuff like stunts run against that offensive line. So while you're pass blocking, are you actually communicating with whoever's next to you, or like is it just a feel thing? Because I mean, we saw last week them run like a twist, and it just looked brutal.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think the more you do it, the less actual physical communication there is. It just becomes natural. Starting out, obviously, yeah, you're going to want to talk and communicate and pass all the games and, talk that process through. Hey, in, and out, and just make all that stuff happen.
Right.
The more you play next to a guy, the more comfortable you become, and it almost becomes second nature. And when you really look at the good groups and the groups that have been playing next to one another and kind of know everything about the guy that they're playing next to, it's almost just kind of so natural that you wouldn't even notice. That sort of communication is nonverbal. It's just kind of assumed and understood. I don't think the Bears have that at this point.
So something I'm interested about, Cam, is how much, and maybe this is me reaching a little bit, but how much of the struggle from the offensive line has to do with the quarterback play? And what I mean by that is I know something Bruce talks about a lot is Nick Foles being a statue and him not having the mobility, and I'm using Bruce's words against him.
That's fine. I'm totally okay with it because he is a statue.
But when Nick Foles can't get out of the pocket, I mean, we see the offensive line struggle because they have to do more. They really don't have the room for error. So how much, as an offensive lineman, is your life easier when you have that mobile quarterback, the more mobile quarterback in Mitchell Trubisky?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of things that are, like we mentioned, attributing to this. And obviously having someone who has some escapability and some mobility and the ability to make things happen from the quarterback position when things break down is huge for any offensive lineman. So obviously that helps, just having that ability to get out and make some stuff happen when it isn't necessarily there. I think another big part of it is almost schematic, though, because when we talk about Foles wanting to be a statue, he's someone that likes to work from the gun. He likes to, kind of be in that statuesque position and sort of being back there looking down the field, trying to see things. It's less creative in terms of the play calling. They do less movement, which makes everything a little bit harder on the offensive line because it's kind of assumed that you know what's coming. I liked some of the mobility, moving the pocket, doing some play action, roll out, that sort of stuff that Mitch was not necessarily good at, but better at, was conducive for an offensive lineman that's not necessarily, or for an offensive line unit that's not necessarily the best at pass protection. So what do? Okay, we don't have that great of protection. Let's move the pocket. Let's run some play action. Let's do things to take the pressure off of this group. And if Nick Foles can only stand back there and just hope to get the ball out on time, then you're going to put a lot more pressure on that offensive line.
So from your perspective, Cam, if there was a change you had to make for the Bears, whether that be personnel, a scheme change, what's one thing that they could do? I mean, Ryan Pace is sitting down. What's one thing he should do?
Putting him on a spot right now, man. Woohoo!
Okay, I wouldn't normally do this, but I know that Cam also has his own Bears podcast. So I'm sure this is something he's thought of. So Cam, what do the Bears need to do offensively to get themselves going?
We talking about right now, like a mid-season move, or are we talking like off-season? Right, there were some missed opportunities, but what I would have done is signed free agent offensive lineman, and it's a boring move. It's a conservative move, but I think there are pieces there all over the place on this offense that hint that this is an okay group. It's really just a lack of a thing here, a thing there, a little tweak that could really get them over the top. Is Nick Foles the answer to everything? No, probably not. But he's better than what we're seeing, and a lot of that has to do with the pressure that he's under. Is David Montgomery the best running back in the league? No, absolutely not. But he's a lot better than what we're seeing, and and a lot of that has to do with his inability to get going in the run game. Do I think this offensive line that they intended to have as the starting group for the entire season is perfect? Absolutely not by any means. But they were an okay group. They were a solid group. But they could have afforded to gone out and pursued like a Quinton Spain or one of these type of guys that was out there on the market, just to shore up these positions. Even if it's someone that you have to move someone around, you're not going to a rookie or someone that hasn't had a whole lot of in-game experience. That group that they threw out there last Sunday, I mean, we're talking about 3 or 4 guys that have minimal experience, and when you got a quarterback that's just standing back there and cannot move, it's just a really bad formula, a really bad combination. So the first thing I would do, and again, that sounds like it's coming from an offensive lineman, but I would try to protect my assets by getting a protector, an offensive lineman, to just shore up and protect all those guys out there on that offensive side.
No, and I 100% agree with that. I 100%. So I was hoping, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually kind of hoping that you would say, because I'm a Trubisky fan. I actually think that he's done everything that's right. He's a hard, and this is obviously not being in the locker room with him, not knowing for sure, but like visually from what I've seen, read and everything, he's a great guy, works his ass off, and does everything what you want as a fan. And he does everything. But the one thing that he struggled at, and to be honest with you, I think part of it could be also because schematically, it just hasn't worked out for him. It could be a Ryan Tannehill situation, in my opinion. It could be something where he gets a change of scheme, change of venue. Suddenly, he does okay. So I have a question for you. I don't recall. I think you were on the roster with Mitch for a little bit. So if you could please provide me a little bit of background on his, some of his leadership abilities that you may have witnessed during the time with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I was in the same class as Mitch, so his rookie season, actually, the week 1 when he was doing, like some of the dummy looks or the practice. I was on the practice squad. I was the center for him. He was my quarterback. So we're a scout team together, and kind of came up at the same time. Obviously, he's still there, and I'm talking to you guys, so.
Sorry about that.
It could have gone better, but no. But I'm just messing. But no, Mitch is great. He is everything that you're asking for in terms of like that off-field guy. Great personality, great worker, great leader. He's never gonna let you down, never gonna embarrass you. He's a great guy, and even the on the field stuff. I was never ever in favor of him losing the job. When it happened,
thank you.
When it happened, I was kind of pissed about the way it all played out because, quite frankly, would he have won the game against the Falcons?
No.
I don't know. Probably not. But I don't think he lost the job. And I knew that because Nick Foles orchestrated a comeback, we were going to assume that meant that he was the guy from now on, and that meant that that Trubisky was not the guy. And I don't think it's really so cut and dry. It's not so clear. I think the big difference, and we've alluded to this multiple times, but it's just the mobility. It's just the mobility and the creativity that it allows for this Matt Nagy offense. When you have that mobile quarterback, I think we mentioned it takes pressure off the offensive line. It allows them to get more creative and do more stuff in the running game. And I although the numbers weren't tremendous, the passing is obviously leaving a lot to be desired. But it's a more well-rounded group. The numbers are more well-rounded when he's been the quarterback.
Great.
And as someone who likes to lean on the run and finds a lot of value in the ability to run the ball, as you've seen, the numbers just diminish and basically fall off the edge of the earth since Nick Foles has been the quarterback. I'm really discouraged by that. And again, I don't think it's not a 1-for-1 sort of thing where you swap him out, swap him in, and it just fixes everything. But that's been the part that's been most frustrating for me. And so as someone who knows Mitch and knows his athletic ability and knows what he's capable of, I can attest that I think that I don't think this team would be, I don't think it's better or worse. I personally would prefer at least some of the mobility and the options that we have with that asset at the position.
Agree. And that's the same thing. Like schematically, again, there's that word again. I agree with that 100%. Just because I feel that with the team that Ryan Pace is currently put together, I think the best chance for you to win currently in this active roster right now is having Trubisky at the quarterback position. But I'm not in that position to make that call. So
True.
Soon enough.
Oh, look, nah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
Bruce.
I'm good.
Bruce for the next GM.
I'll continue with my high school coaching. I'm good with that.
So, Cam, I have a bit of an off the beaten path question for you. Whenever I
Those are my
talk to
favorite.
offensive linemen, I love asking about trash talk. So, I know some of the things that are said in the trenches you might not be able to say, but talk to me about that element. Well, Bruce says inappropriate things all the time, so if you want to say, go ahead, whatever you want to say. But no, talk to us about trash talk in the trenches in the NFL.
It is funny. It's funny because everyone has their own different style to it, and offensive linemen are just such an eclectic bunch of humans. Just the difference from personality from an offensive lineman to a defensive lineman is just very interesting. And then all of a sudden you've got the added component of the competition and this 600 pounds of combined man-on-man meat. Just there's a lot of vulgarity that's going to come out, but there's a lot of wit too. And that's one of the things that I don't think people would fully understand or fully appreciate is that particularly offensive linemen, some defensive linemen, but particularly offensive linemen, they're not just smart, they're witty and they're funny and they're sarcastic and it's very dry. And every single one of them has just like a little bit different of a wrinkle to their trash talk. And I just love that part of it. They're just funny in their own unique way. But yeah, it's a fun part of it. Some of the things I've heard Akeem Hicks say to me as he was beating the crap out of me when I was on the practice squad, when my job was basically to try and make him better without beating him or, giving him too much effort.
Yeah.
The things that he would think to say to me were just so funny and so raw and just like, it's the best. My own personal style.
Example. Wait, hold on, Cam. Example. You got to give it an example of what he said. Come on.
Akeem would be the type of dude that would like absolutely crush you and then like make a joke about like, do you even, he would say stuff like, do you even belong here? Like, are you even, just like really embarrassing stuff. I had a guy in college who's actually on he's on the Broncos now, Shelby Harris, defensive lineman, who once said to me, have you ever played football before? Which was like very insulting. Of course, to which I replied, no, it's actually my first week.
That's good. That's good. I mean, at that point, yeah.
I had a personal style where I didn't so much trash talk. Rather, I did what I like to call, I basically just kind of swallowed you up with enthusiasm. Where I was just I tried really, 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 really hard.
Thank you.
And then would like try to beat you and then would like knock you on the ground and then like pick you up and then be really nice to you. And
that would piss me off so much.
I hate that. I'd run you out of bounds. Yeah, I would like run you out of bounds and then be like, hey man, you're doing pretty good. Just keep trying. Like you'll get one. And just be really encouraging. That was kind of my unique thing, but it's not everyone's style for sure.
Oh, that would piss me off so much. I never even played football, but that would make me so mad.
No, just be really encouraging. I had in my limited NFL experience, I got to block Myles Garrett for the majority of my game, one of my games, and I don't know what happened, if it was just lucky or what, but I blocked Myles Garrett on like an outside zone run play and drove him like all the way to the sideline.
Let's go.
Nice.
Took him all the way to the sideline, ran him out of bounds, and again, he's had so much more success, and this is all I've got to brag on. But he said, I remember as I was blocking him, he said, "Yo, bro, chill," and like that was like the highlight of my life, was just like making the number one pick in my draft class. Like, he tell me to chill. Like, yeah, I made it. I made it, Mom.
That's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I don't need anything else. That was it.
That's pretty cool. So that kind of reminds me of like something that I can remember reading about for NBA stuff that said like, who was a guy that you wouldn't have expected to completely own you, and that did. So for Myles Garrett, it's going to be Cameron Lee.
he's gonna look back. He's gonna look back on it and be like, I don't remember who number 63 was for the Chicago Bears in 2017, but that guy, he had my number.
That's great. What was it like? So I have to ask this question because I have a buddy of mine who's a huge fan of this gentleman. What was it like playing with Kyle Long?
Kyle is the absolute best. He's someone that I'm very good friends with still to this day.
Awesome.
Kyle is unbelievably funny and witty, and he's just like from another planet. Like, he really is. Like, he just kind of grew. Like, you get to know the people who like kind of grew up in the football world. Like, for me personally, like, I'm not from that world at all. Right. But like, he's just one of those guys who like has been around these guys, like speaks the language, but yet when he chooses to leave it, like he can like leave it at the door and then like go and talk about something just so off the wall that, you know, most people aren't talented enough to like be that weird and that good, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
That makes sense.
Like for me, if I was gonna be like in the football world, I had to be 100% in. You know what I mean? Like 2 feet in, locked in, focused. Like, I couldn't mess around. If I messed around at all, I was gonna, you know, end up retired and podcasting.
Hanging out with us on a Thursday night.
Exactly. And he could just be like as talented as an offensive lineman as you'll meet in the NFL, and then like joke around and talk about like, you know, iRacing and fishing and his extra, you know, curricular habits. And I'm just like, you're amazing. He's like talking to an alien.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, he has grown up in the football world. That is a good point. That honestly, he probably, I would imagine when you've been around it for that long, he probably has to be able to compartmentalize a little bit and go off and just not think about football for a little bit.
I think that's one of the biggest things that kind of, I wouldn't say held me back, but like you get to know the people who are like from this world, and like football, it's like a weird old boys club, you know, and like the guys that went to these big schools and know one another, and like, oh, you were at this high school all-star game, or you went to this SEC school, or you like, my dad knows your dad. Like, it's a whole thing. And like being a walk-on from a small school who went to a small college, who, you know what I mean? Like, who barely got his foot in the door in the NFL. I never felt confident. Like, not once in my entire career, not even when I was like the best player on my team or one of the best players on my team, did I ever feel like, yeah, I belong here. Like, you know, but some guys like that's their thing and that's their world. And it's a really cool experience. But I wish that I would have had like more confidence in that way when I was going through that process.
Yeah.
Must have done something right though, Cam. Must have done something right.
I mean, hey, you played in the NFL, so
exactly.
Both Bruce and I will never be able to say that. So hang your hat on that for sure.
Hard work and a good attitude.
Yes.
D3, baby, D3. No, I actually do have a question though for you about kind of leaving the stuff. You kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier, but kind of leaving like everything at the door though. So what's your free time thing now, man? Like, do you play Call of Duty? Do you just hang out? Like, what's your thing? What's your go-to?
I'm a workaholic, man. I work in the real estate industry. I've been growing my own business.
Nice.
When I'm not doing that, I got the super corny answer of, you know, spending lots of time with my family. I've got a 6-month-old son, a dog, a cat, beautiful wife. So hanging out with them, hanging out with my family. but yeah, I do a lot of that. And then any chance that if I'm not working or spending time with them, I'm competing in whatever I can. If it's pickup basketball, I
Nice.
ran a marathon last week. Like whatever it is, like I try to just.
What was the time?
What
was the time? Gotta ask that too.
Real slow, man. 4.5.
That's not bad at all.
Well, I was pushing for faster, but you know what? I'll take it. I ran it by myself, so
4.5 still qualifies for Boston Marathon.
Well, that's what I was trying to do. I was like, you know what? Whatever it takes to get to Boston.
Bruce ran a 5K the other day.
I did. Just a 5K. It wasn't anything.
4.5.
Back.
You beat 4.5.
Yeah. No, back in the day when I was a little younger, those were my half marathon and marathon days. Now I'm more 5K. 5K,
yeah, man.
5K, 10K. That's
Running's again not my jam. I play a lot of pickup basketball. Obviously, due to our current circumstances, couldn't get into gyms, so picked up a new hobby.
I'm telling you, running is basketball is actually always my number one. That's my baby. That's what I coach right now. And but that being said, though, running has an interesting dynamic of you versus you.
Yeah.
And beating that mental barrier of wanting to go faster, but also struggling with your own body's capabilities. So it's a huge mental game.
No tougher opponent than yourself.
True.
Cam,
or Keem Hicks.
Before we let you go, I know you host a Bears podcast. So if you want to tell us a little bit about that, go ahead and promote yourself. So anybody watching can check you out there as well.
Of course. Make sure you check out my podcast. It is the Believe in Bears podcast. That's Believe, BLEAV, for those of you who don't know, which is probably most people. But it's the Believe in Bears podcast. We, myself and my co-host, Joey Christopoulos, who is a very funny person who also cares much about the Bears, we host a pregame show typically on Thursday, and we just actually released our episode from today for previewing the game against the Vikings, and then we do a post-game show. So Monday night will be this week, or normally Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, just doing a post-game recap. But yeah, we have a lot of fun, just providing you all sorts of Bears insights, complaining a lot about the offense, talking about how much Bears fatigue we have. Yeah, it's an absolute blast. So you guys check that out. Believe in Bears podcast on all your major podcast platforms. Give it a subscribe and maybe a like, share it, because every time you do that, my son has a better chance of going to college, and he's going to need it.
This guy knows how to market. I like it.
That was great.
So Cam, what's your Bears Vikings prediction?
Ooh, okay. I don't like the direction the Bears are headed, and the Vikes have looked really good. Dalvin Cook is nuts right now.
He's not human.
Not a human. That being said, Kirk Cousins is really bad on Monday Night Football. He's really bad against the Bears.
Never won a game.
That secondary is not good. And I'm going to go ahead and say Bears 27, Vikings 23. 27's a lot of points. I know. I'm counting on my defense to come through.
Whoa!
I'm counting on the defense to come through. 27.
2 touchdowns from the defense then?
You have to. Absolutely have to.
I love it.
I asked today on our podcast, when I said, what are the keys to the game? I said, the Bears have to play offense.
Yeah.
That's it. You're waiting for me to follow that up with something. Yeah, that's it. They just have to
just have an NFL. Competent. Just have an NFL offense. Just have an NFL offense.
Just kind of, yeah.
Participate.
Love it. That's great.
Fantastic.
Good stuff, man.
Well, Cam, thank you very much for taking time out of your evening away from your family to come on the show. We had a lot of fun. Thank you for the stories. Thank you for the insights. So, again, thank you very much for coming on the show, man.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, Cam. Thanks,
Absolutely. Man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, see ya.
Bam.
Cam is definitely a good dude. We need to have him on again.
I agree. I love it. I mean, you can definitely tell. I love how he comes on and he's flexing the fact that he has a nicer microphone than both of us. And I'm
You know what's
like,
funny? What's funny? A coworker of mine actually has the exact same microphone
really?
that he has, and my coworker's like, "You can use this if you want," and I was like, "No, I got one." I kind of like the old, like I kind of like the janky like spring that you could probably hear and all that.
Just be like, hello, smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz coming at you live Thursday evening. All right. But no, he was awesome. He was great. I loved hearing the stories about Akeem and all that. 27 points is a lot of freaking points that the Bears are not going to score.
So what's your prediction, Bruce?
My prediction. God, I have zero confidence in the Bears right now.
Yeah.
I've only lost one game in my predictions this year. One game.
That was last week, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't lose the game. I've lost the spread. I'm actually still undefeated in predicting games.
True.
Wait. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Yes. So the spread, I've been bad. So let's not listen to me with betting for the Bears because it's the Bears anyways. So let's just go straight up. Shoot. So Vegas, for whatever reason, has the Bears being competitive in this game at +2.5. It's in Chicago, Monday night. Big game. Kirk Cousins. This is the biggest game for the Bears this year, mind you. Like, they need to win this game. If they lose this game, this year is done. This is like the old school Undertaker. Like, I am choke slamming you right now. It's over.
Okay.
So that being said, this is a must win. Kirk Cousins sucks on Monday night, which leads me to my prediction of Vikings 17, Bears 14. I hope I'm wrong.
I don't think you will be. It'll
You
be
like
2
that?
touchdowns.
You like that? I let it up, like thinking that.
And yeah, 2 touchdowns from Dalvin Cook. That'll probably be it.
I actually don't think Dalvin Cook's gonna have a good game. I don't.
Bruce, the man's been running over everyone and their mother.
I think that you're gonna see a pick six by the Vikings defense. I think it's gonna be some just like random crap that like you're like, who are these people?
It's gonna be an ugly game.
It's gonna be garbage. It's gonna be absolute. Again, there's that word again too. I've been using
garbage,
the same
dumpster
word.
fire.
My vocabulary is very limited, and I keep saying garbage.
Well, there are only so many words you can use to describe the Bears right now, so I don't blame you.
The amount of ineptitude is appalling.
For the Packers, I'm gonna go 31-14.
God, I don't even know who the Packers are playing.
The Jaguars.
Oh, they're fine.
Yeah, I'm not concerned at all. I'm interested.
Trubisky starts against Green Bay. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah, the Packers line is 13.5.
Yeah. I did see that. I did. Now I forgot who they were playing, but I do remember hearing that line was ridiculous. So
I mean, I'd be tempted to pick the Jaguars to cover on that just because, but I am also they're 1-7.
We've totally so I'm going to change the subject real quick. We've totally turned this show into a strictly football show. So that being said, congratulations to Jose Abreu winning AL MVP, which is awesome. Chicago White Sox have a great manager who is going to wear .22 in honor of his blood alcohol content that he got when he got pulled over. And the fact that the dude reads off like saying like pointing to his like Hall of Fame ring.
Hey, I got a ring.
Yeah, I got a ring. I got a Hall of Fame ring. I'm sorry.
And the fact that Ryan Tepera got a vote for NL MVP and Javi Baez didn't.
Right. Ian Happ had as many votes as Ryan Tepera.
Yeah. And yeah.
Who are these people giving these votes? I know it's like the Associated Press that get like all these votes, but who the hell is that? I want to know who that person was, and we should have him on our show.
At least they got Freddie Freeman right. That is the correct pick for NL MVP. He deserved that 100%. It is scary though to see the Padres with those 2 top 4 finishers.
You know what's funny is there was a great segment this morning when I was on the way to work, my actual job, and they were talking about who the Cubs have as a good trade bait to build up their farm system again. Chris Bryant is very limited now because of his crap years that he's been having and injury plagued. I shouldn't say crap years because they have been mostly injury prone or plagued. I'm sorry. So that said, Yu Darvish was the person that was used as right. It's not gonna happen. The only team, honestly, that there was even a slightest thought of possibly having or taking on that contract and looking to was the Padres, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Well, even that. So
I could see the Dodgers getting him back.
Well, the Dodgers have like unlimited funds.
Imagine Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, and Yu Darvish.
Darvish, that'd be ridiculous. What's not fair though is the fact that like suddenly the Ricketts family runs out of money and the Dodgers are printing it in LA.
Yeah. Basically.
So whatever. It must be the whole Midwest thing. Or also, Chicago taxes.
True. Also, the one piece of basketball news I want to bring up is the Houston Rockets are a mess. Westbrook wants out. And James Harden doesn't say he wants a trade, but says if I did want to trade, here are the 5 places I would want to go.
I would. Okay, so some of the news stations, including my coworker who's watching right now, I would not trade for Westbrook. However,
I wouldn't touch him or Harden with a 10-foot pole.
Harden, I would.
Nope.
Harden, I would.
He's never won.
So what? You need an all-star. Okay, so this was my thought process. Hear me out on this. So in the NBA, the only way to win is to have a superstar.
Yep.
Westbrook is an aging superstar. I get that. Yep. I understand that thought process. However, superstar breeds superstars. And that being said, there's a possibility if you sign someone that's alluring enough or trade for somebody that's alluring enough, you could possibly get that big-ass gem called Anthony Davis, because he
AD's
currently
not leaving.
He has the option to leave, though.
He's already stated publicly he's going to re-sign with LA.
Right, and I know that, but you know how sports work. Until you actually sign on that dotted line,
Bruce. He's not leaving LA.
Again, it does not mean jack until he's got a title. He's already gotten. Didn't he win? No, he didn't win. He should have won the Finals MVP, but that went to James for whatever reason. But that being said, though, I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I'm saying, though, is if you get a superstar, you have a higher probability of getting a superstar to come to you with that person. How do you think LA got Anthony Davis in the first place? You had LeBron James. How do you think that the Miami Heat were to get the big 3 or the original big 3 in the Celtics with Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Rajon Rondo or Ray Allen, whoever you want to include in that big 3?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying any of that. However, there needs to come a point where the Bulls, and I'm hoping this front office it will do it at some point, but the Bulls need to make a move that's going to get a superstar to merit them receiving or having interest from another superstar. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think I agree in theory, but I don't think the Bulls have what it takes to get James Harden.
No, they have.
They give up a lot of draft picks.
They do have the assets for it. Well,
Zach LaVine, there's nobody on that team I would trade for.
Money-wise, they have the assets for it. I would give up the 4th pick. Give up the 4th pick overall. Give up that contract of Otto Porter. Give up the contract of Felicio, because I'm not saying it's going to happen again. You have a higher probability for Westbrook, and like I was saying, but you give up because the Rockets are rebuilding.
I would love to see Westbrook and Zach LaVine together.
That's tough because both those dudes are ball dominant guards. That's the tough thing with those two.
Right, and that's why Westbrook and Harden didn't work. And that's why Harden and basically any other superstar in the NBA wouldn't work, because Harden can't play off ball.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You need for a Harden example, and this is not even like using him, but for a Harden example, you would need somebody that would be a beta to the alpha.
Yeah.
So
the only trade I've seen that made any sense whatsoever is Harden for Ben Simmons.
Yes,
because Harden and Joel Embiid, I would love to see.
So, what I would actually that would be a nice inside out game. What I would actually really like seeing to play together would be Chris Paul, and this is pipe dreams now. This is like fantasy bullshit, nothing, But to see Chris Paul play with James Harden, I would actually like to see that a lot.
They played together, right, Bruce?
Man, what I do know.
That was like 2 years ago.
I want to see that happen again because Chris Paul is a great facilitator of the basketball, and James Harden obviously is a scorer.
Yeah.
Or if you get somebody that has a Chris Paul type attitude, is something that I would like to see with James Harden.
Yeah, I don't know. Chris Paul wants out of OKC too, though.
I know. I've heard about that. Some people would rather have Chris Paul come to Chicago than have Russell Westbrook come to Chicago, and I could see 100%, that too.
100%.
Just because you have Kobe White coming up. Kobe White's gonna be an off guard. He's not gonna be a point guard. Stop saying it.
I want Chris Paul to teach Kobe White though.
100%. No, I agree with that. Great.
Because look what he's done with what he did with Schroeder and SGA.
Right. No, and I agree with that 100%.
I agree.
But we gotta. So next week the NBA draft is next week. So
what day exactly is the draft?
I actually think it's a week from today.
NBA draft.
It's
Wednesday, so it'll be the day after the draft.
So we all right. Next week we're gonna push. All right. So next week, do we have a guest for next week planned yet?
No, I can try to find.
So this week, I like how we're like planning our show live on it.
Yeah, I'll see if we can talk to. We'll find somebody NBA to talk to.
I'm gonna push. To those who are watching, we did make a push for Bill Walton, but unfortunately, Bill said no.
Yes, we did. It was a very respectful no. However,
it was.
Also, that one.
Oh.
The one that I talked to you about, right?
Yeah. No, we're here.
Yes, they said no initially.
No.
However, I'm in contact with all of them now, and they have me on like their list.
Oh, I'm sure that the list is like
right, but like, let's be clear, Bruce. You know me, and I will keep asking.
You're damn right. That's the same thing I'm gonna do for the people that like I talked to you about.
So what I'm saying, Bruce, is I think you should send them an email too.
I'll do it tomorrow. Shit, like my old ass. I'll tell these youngins.
Bruce, these people are probably older than you are.
Well, those are, yes, but not the
well, yeah, I guess.
Person. I love it. Sean.
Sean. Shut up, Sean. But no. Any other news before we hop off, Bruce?
Other than this, those of you that are watching, we do have that merch.
Yep.
Still. We have a few left over. I have a nice jewel bag.
Ooh,
still filled with some Third Down Thursday gear.
Nice.
So that said, direct message myself, MJ, or our show.
Yep.
And let us know if you want one, and I'll toss it to you in the mail for the nice, cool price of $10.
Absolutely.
So let us know. Honestly, like we're doing big things. We got some big people planned. There's some other stuff. I know Jim came on last week. Friends of our show. We're gonna try to get him on again at some point. News to MJ, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna keep pushing, baby. Keep pushing.
Absolutely. Well, Bruce, another good show, folks. We will talk to you later. We will see you next Thursday, and we will have some NBA draft talk for you.
Yes, sir. Go Bulls. Go Bears.
Go Packers.
Yeah.
Whatever.